No, attention seeker. Alright, yeah. To play with you. So market has been bullish overnight, um, all week. So are we gonna keep going up for Friday as well? I have a buy side target around 44,000, which is a BPR on the weekly time frame. Which is also a for what about is it a weekly time frame? Yeah. We'll go copyright me. But liquidity wise, you can see price running out these equal lows before doing any bullish movement. So kind of middle now because on the hourly time frame, it looks like price wants to keep going up. But liquidity is on the low side. So if price can trade all the way up into this fair value gap at the open, sorry, this inverted fair value gap, then I'll start looking for entries to the downside. Full extension of Asia. This price wants to keep going up. Let's see. These equal lows are prominent. The red for today is so small. Only moving about 100 points. Yeah. So we can even run the highs before we even flip. Okay, let's see. Got 30 seconds left.
Leveraging your strong competitive nature in trading. 5 ways to channel your competitive nature into trading success. Why, Sarah? Even on the toughest days when the odds are stacked against you, true competitors find a way to push through. Think about Michael Jordan and his iconic and quote, flu game and quote. Despite being severely ill, he pushed his body to the limit and delivered a game-winning performance. That same fire, that hunger to win, is what drives many traders coming from competitive backgrounds like sports, business, and even high.
Wow. Come up a little bit. Wow. I know you can just go there to wake me up. So print first. Print, print, print. I just did some bullshit. I'm gonna lie. That was rubbish.
High stakes professions like law. In sports, athletes have more control over the variables. They can push through pain, adjust their strategy on the fly, and still come out on top. Traders bring that same mindset to the markets, thinking, I will not give up. I will end the day in green. But that doesn't usually work as well as it did for Michael Jordan. Why? Well, the markets don't respond to willpower the way athletic performance does. So, does this mean you have to dial back your competitive nature to be a better trader? Not at all. The problem isn't your competitive spirit, it's how we use it. Our focus goes to the goals we set for ourselves. For traders, that is the intention set before each session. If you come in wanting to end the day in green, you'll struggle to cope well with loss. If you come in wanting to give your best execution regardless of the session's result, you cope well with winning, losing, breaking even, or even taking no trades for that day at all. Being highly competitive can be both the best and the most toxic trait in trading. When you learn how to channel that energy the right way, it drives outstanding trading performance. I've seen it with many of my clients.
We've taken one loss.
Last
Okay,
Saturday's
cool.
webinar being a great example.
That was off
Those
this
courses
setup
there
here.
show you 5 powerful
So
ways
this
to
setup proved invalid.
nature in trading, so you
Um,
can utilize it in a way that both fulfills you and enhances performance. Ready?
we're
Let's
gonna
dive in. The hidden pitfall
wait for the close of this candle now.
of the competitive drive in
Let's see
trading.
how price reacts at the
Traders have no
50%.
idea how to channel it effectively. When merged with thoughts of, I will not give up until I get a winner,
The opening the premium.
nature would be reversed. In sports, business, and other fields where results are more controllable, it's safe to use your competitiveness to achieve results. But in trading, it works slightly differently. Optimal performance and making money in one session are two purely distinct worlds. So, how do you leverage that competitive nature while prioritizing optimal performance and results? Number one, process focused goals. The key is to do it around processes, not day-to-day results. If the goal is to make $X weekly, you lose control over your execution and hand it over to the market. True progress comes from setting goals and full control. Many sales enterprises fuel the motivation of their workers with monthly prizes, which motivates the sales reps to sell more. Why does this work? The process of closing sales is linked to the outcome of each sale. In trading, executing a trade well has nothing to do with its outcome. Some traders recognize how difficult setting money-based goals can be, so they avoid setting goals altogether. But that's not the answer either. Here's how you can healthily reframe your goals. Making X amount in October becomes taking only valid entries throughout the month. Ending the day in green becomes executing my trading goals.
We just not fucking playing there at all. I need to see more price action.
Increasing my hold time on winning trades by scaling up 50%
There's equal low here,
and
but
the remaining 50% for target 2. I wrote a past post on the 6-step process for effective goal setting and trading.
no further gaps yet. Just volume imbalances.
When you focus on process-driven goals, you create your own measures of success and establish healthy feedback loops. At the end of each day, week, or month, You can evaluate your performance against
If you're buying, you
those
can buy
How
this
many valid
open.
entries did I take? And
At
how
this
many
main
days did I
point,
stick to my trading
take it
rules?
to the top
By
side.
how much did I increase the holding time
But
of winners? The key isn't just to end quote, then process and quote. You need to end quote, execute
I need to see my
process.
price action about this.
With process-focused goals, each day goes from a fight with the market to a battle with the obstacles that come your way to achieving that goal. The biggest of them all, your old self, embodied in highly charged emotional patterns that pull you off course. Brett Steenbarger talks about the ego alien concept, which means seeing your problematic pattern as the true enemy. The goal is to build up so much hate of this pattern that you're motivated to kill it the moment you see it creeping in. It reminds me of a creature trying to take over a person's body in a horror movie. You notice it before it takes control. When you do that, you're no longer the pattern. You become an observer of it. This step of dissociation is the first measure for breaking a pattern. Number 3, measure the size of relapses. Relapses are part of the journey when you're trying to make lasting change. The difference is that when you walk to the goal in wide steps, one relapse will move you a giant step backward. But if you're moving in smaller steps, the relapses will also be smaller, which means you can recover faster. For example, say you relapse into impulsive trading and take a trade outside your plan. The mistake is made, but you catch it and decide to stop trading for the day. That one decision can be the difference between a small loss and a big blow-up day. It's insane how much damage you can avoid just by taking a 5-minute break at key moments. Measuring the size of your relapses makes for a great success measure. Not all your mistakes fall into the same category. Your worst trading days could have often been transformed into a small loss if you had just stopped earlier. In the initial phase of breaking an undesired pattern,
Look
the
at
goal is
that.
not to stop making a mistake all in all,
Wow.
but to push your awareness to earlier stages. The unique outcome you want to avoid is an abnormally losing day. As long as you can stop the mistake at a manageable loss, you're giving yourself the chance to recover. Here's how to start measuring the size of your mistakes. When did your awareness kick in? Did you realize the mistake immediately or after it got worse? If you weren't aware, then your goal should be to start improving your awareness as early as possible. Where did you limit the mistake? Did you stop the losses before they spiraled out of control? With these, you can set a goal to limit your mistakes earlier. Here's an example to clarify. Say a loss on an off-plan trade triggers emotional trading, causing you to oversize the next one, and you keep chasing the move until the end of the session, resulting in a big losing day. You had plenty of chances to recognize the pattern and stop it, but you didn't. Your next goal should be to catch yourself earlier in that process. How can you become more aware sooner? And if you are already aware, how will you stop yourself?
That's probably going to expand all the way to this to extension up here. But I'll be honest, like, there's not much for me to do here. Probably not taking on the trend for a while. I gotta see, because this is just 2 candles and they're both just pushing up like doing rubbish. So this is big as week 4.
There will be days when
So I
emotion
mean,
is low and you self-manage more easily.
so
But that's not the actual test. The real challenge comes when the friction
you
is
see
high.
something during the
These are the
macro.
days you're faced with the choice. Either fall into the old pattern or consciously counter your autopilot. I get this question a lot from traders. Will I need to sustain this effort forever? It feels so intense, it seems impossible to keep up long term. The short and quick answer is no, you won't. The friction will decrease over time as long as you stay consistent with the effort to create a new response. I've seen this time and again with my clients. At first, the effort to resist urges feels intense, but after pushing through, they eventually describe the friction as much less, even non existent. Corey, one of my clients, talked about just that at minute 42:00 of last Saturday's webinar. Over time, you'll notice that the days that trigger you become fewer and the intensity of the triggers decreases. As your competitive nature pushes you to stay consistent, the effort becomes second nature. So keep pushing with no excuses. Number 5, accountability partners. From the moment you count from results to process, you can set your whole environment up to feed your competitiveness. The people you network with are one aspect of it. With the processes as a point of reference, comparison becomes healthy. You can compete with other traders using different approaches to arrive at the same destination and improve your processes. You can compare pre-market routines, how they journal and what they track, their success measures and improvement plans, techniques for optimizing their mindset for the markets. By surrounding with others who focus on the process, you're creating a network that helps sharpen your discipline to sustain change. Task of the week. When you lack process-focused goals and feedback systems, the results become your default focus. Only with the proper measures to evaluate the process can you become process driven. This week, I want you to take a close look at your current goals. Is there something you can adjust to help you enter your training sessions with a more process focused mentality? If you're not setting weekly goals yet, I challenge you to start right now. Identify one process driven goal that makes a difference in your training. For example, eliminating impulsive entries. Create an action plan to support that goal. For instance, use a trade checklist that you review before each trade. Develop a tracking tool for that goal to evaluate the performance of that action plan at the end of each session and week. This could be an Excel sheet, an app, or a manual log. By focusing on the process, you create a healthy environment for competition, one where you control all the variables. That's when it becomes safe to use and abuse your competitive nature. How are you using your competitive nature in trading? I invite you to share with everyone in the comments. With love, sir. If you chose one of the first two options, please hit the button in the post. Related read. Here are the two coaching services I currently offer. One-on-one coaching, close guidance with various time frames available. Individual session packages, individual video calls that can be scheduled flexibly within a defined period. If you're ready to take the next step in your trading, book a consultation call below. The Olympics and the Stock Market by Sarah. This week's edition is free for all readers. Become a paid subscriber to unlock every article and attend the private live classes. Hi everyone. My name is Greg Duncan, and I'm a fourth-year trader honing in on my edge trading high-volume gaps. Earlier this summer, I achieved a lifelong dream. I won Olympic trials on 3-meter in the synchronized diving event and qualified for the Paris Olympics, earning the honor of representing Team USA on the world's biggest stage. Tyler, my teammate on the left, and me on the right. Sarah invited me to share some of my main takeaways from this summer and my career as an athlete, plus how lessons from high-level athletics can be directly applied to trading. On the surface, these areas of life may seem different. One potential to be 95% physical while the other is 95%. But there are so many overlaps worth diving deeper into. With that being said, here's what we're going to cover today. The 3 skills necessary to qualify for the Olympics and the application to trading. 3 mindset parallels, expectations, pressure, and doing the little things. Short and to the point, focused on valuable takeaways so I don't waste your Sunday. Let's get into it. What did it take to qualify for the Olympics? I began my diving journey when I was just 11 years old. Fast forward 14 years, and I would have never imagined that I'd be standing on the edge of an Olympic dream, qualifying for Team USA. When I look back on the journey now, it still doesn't feel real, but it is, and I've been able to process the experience to boil down key takeaways from a decade plus of incredible experiences. My diving career has shaped me as a competitor, trader, but more importantly, as a human. To give you an idea of the drama surrounding mine and my teammate Tyler's qualification, we had to get nearly 80 minutes on the final dive to qualify for the Olympics. This was a 12-dive event coming down to the absolute last dive, something similar to Michael Jordan hitting his famous shot in Game 6 against the Utah Jazz in 1998 to win his 6th championship. No, it wasn't that crazy, but it was definitely high pressure. In trading terms, this is like being required to execute on your best setup to near perfection. And if you don't, you lose your account as a qualified. This was going to be my last dive ever. Here's the video on how it turned out. Skip to 3:45 to see the last dive, but this was our entire list with all commentary and drama included. All in all, an absolutely crazy night. But there are some key skills that I've identified and want to share with you that made the whole thing possible. Skill number 1, perseverance. For some athletes, qualifying for the Olympics is a pretty seamless experience, crazy enough, I know. For some traders, becoming profitable is the same way. For me, athletic success was never easy. And over the past 4 years, making money in the market hasn't been that easy either. Diving-wise, there were so many periods throughout my career in which I felt like giving up, whether that was due to injury or poor performance. I actually almost retired after the Olympic trials in 2021 when I got absolutely blown out, starting to doubt if I was even capable of achieving something as crazy as qualifying for the Olympics. Clearly, I didn't retire, and over the next 3 years, I committed to doing everything in my power to make this Paris team. If I didn't, the writing was on the wall. If I did well, smiley face. As I said, I had tons of setbacks along the way. Injuries, poor performances, pressure, difficulties getting my body into elite shape, learning the hardest times of it all. It's been hard,
Got him.
Those who just skate by.
Listen.
I've had setbacks in the market as well.
Makes
I
sense.
found that overnight gap down 30% and losing 10% of my capital in a matter of minutes, prolonged year plus drawdowns because of greed/FOMO and lack of discipline. The list goes on and on. At the end of the day, I lean on my diving experience and know that no matter how long it takes for me to become a great trader, I'm going to stick it out until I don't have any more resources at my disposal. You'd be surprised that if you just keep showing up, good things eventually happen, sometimes in ways that you never have imagined. And yes, it is a choice. If you wake up the next morning, things are always in your control. Just keep going. If you enjoy this post, please click the button and share it. Skill number 2, discipline. It goes without saying, but if you want to achieve anything hard in life, you need to be disciplined. There will be sacrifices. There will be days when you don't want to show up. There will be setbacks. Burning out is real. Before ever becoming a success, the only thing that really matters is whether you continue to show up and persevere even when the odds are stiff. In competition come when I get 8+ hours of sleep. I mastered the balancing act between school, weight training, and actually practicing. It's 25+ hours a week of hard work with no shortcuts. Hard, but worth it when you realize that you've built a level of discipline that 99% of other people in the world can achieve. There are very similar balancing acts in trading. You must sacrifice going out and being social. You must be disciplined with daily and weekly routines. You must spend hours in front of the screens, no shortcuts. Trading is another full-time job. There's no way around it. If you want to succeed, you have to put in the work. The positive is you can acquire the skill of discipline. It's not something you're born with or without. It is simply little pieces of effort put in every single day, expanded over months, years, and decades. Skill number 3, letting go of the outcome. Leading up to the Olympic trials in June, where I competed against the top athletes in the U.S. for a spot on the Olympic team, I was kind of in a rut. I wasn't finding joy in training, I wasn't myself at the pool, and when I got home, I was stressed out overall. It was only through working with my sports psychologist that I realized that I was so focused on the outcome, qualifying for the Olympics, that I lost all appreciation of where I was currently at and the progress I had made over the past 13 years as an athlete. Funny enough, I was completely obsessed with an outcome that I had no control over. The application to trading here is obvious, that I was blocking myself from getting the exact thing I wanted. Hilarious how that works. The only reason I was able to stand up there on my last dive and perform under pressure was because I had completely let go of needing to be an Olympian. I really just enjoyed the moment. How can you let go of the outcome as a trader and enjoy the moment? It's really easy to get caught up in the money side of trading. And what I've learned is that your perception of self and how you view money is really what drives performance. The more you need to make it, the same as the more I needed to make the Olympics, the less you're going to make it. Yeah, we're in a performance-based industry, but when you tie your sense of self-worth to performance, you're going to feel pretty shitty about yourself. The actionable takeaway is this. You really have to focus on the inputs. Focus on what you can control. Showing up every day, running through your routines and building your training plans, as well as doing your post-trade analysis on a weekly or monthly basis. You'll build confidence by focusing on executing the inputs that are in your control. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make money, but when you so aggressively focus on the outcome, you lose sight of what's required to get there, finding joy in the inputs. If you enjoy this post, please click the button and share it. Performing with expectations and
I'm
pressure.
going for a close below this BPR.
Push your body to perform anymore. You've dialed nutrition, sleep, and weight training. Your in the pool work is already done. The last thing to optimize is what goes on between your ears. The real difference between good and great in any performance profession. At a certain point, you can't do any more chart analysis. You can't study your trades anymore. No amount of in-depth write-ups will help you execute any better.
Macro open.
What really matters is how your brain works under pressure. Pressure is a privilege. Again, some people are born to compete. There are athletes that win literally everything from the time they begin competing at a young age all the way to when they hang it up. I was never like that, and I can't make routine. While it sucks to underperform, especially when the pressure's on, there's a silver lining. Learning how to perform under pressure is a skill. It can be acquired and mastered. All it takes is a little bit of a mindset shift. So often we view performance as a threat, whether that be to our ego, our sense of self-worth, or whatever you want to tie it to. But of course, the more we fear crumbling under pressure, the more we do. So how do we learn how to compete when the lights are the brightest? You have to learn that pressure is a privilege. Instead of having to perform under pressure, you get to. It's an honor to be in a position where you can put on your best. Performance is not a threat to you, it's actually an opportunity. You can apply this lesson to trading in many different ways, but the key is to realize that your perception shapes your reality. If you view every losing trade as a threat, you'll never learn from it. If you view it as an opportunity, the sky's the limit. Wrapping up, at the end of the day, high-level athletics and trading share a common thread. Both are about mastering yourself. Whether it's executing a high-difficulty dive on the world stage or placing your capital at risk in whatever market you trade, the real challenge is mental. Perseverance, discipline, and letting go of the outcome are three key skills that help me qualify for the Olympics. And they're the same skills that will help me become the best trader I can be. Every day you have to show up, put in the work, and trust that the results will follow. But even more than that, you have to learn how to embrace pressure and see it as a privilege, a chance to prove to yourself that you can perform when it matters most. If I've learned anything from my journey from an age group diver to an Olympian, it's that if you're willing to put in the work, great things can happen. You just have to keep showing up. Greg Duncan, at Greg Duncan _ X. I've written a free email course on my earnings gap up strategy here. If you haven't already, go through Sarah's Mindset Mastery course. It's amazing what you face. If you enjoyed this post, please click the button and share it with your audience. Related reads. Become a paid subscriber to unlock every article and attend the private live classes.
Key differences between 5-figure and 7-figure traders. From 5 to 7 figures, the core principles of elite traders. By Sarah. The ride for 5 to 7-figure trading is a curvy one. Traders think the most demanding years are in the beginning, but it's a constant process with new challenges to overcome. Trading plateau takes, in many cases, way longer than getting past break-even. Working with both 5 and 7-figure traders, some key differences become apparent in how they operate in the market. Regardless of their market, style, or strategy, a couple of dots set 7-figure traders apart. In this post, I talk about these connecting dots, hoping you can align your current trading processes with those of 7-figure traders. These are not the typical aspects you're used to hearing in blog posts. They are based on my experience coming from a close coaching relationship with these traders, which makes them biased but also very real and practical. Number 1, simplicity. A feature of 7-figure traders is that they simplify. Overcomplication sometimes happens without you realizing it.
For these highs that they are making right now, I only get an IVG here.
When you realize there you are overcomplicating things again. Whether in trading routines, processes, or strategies, this overcomplication is a coping mechanism to protect oneself from insecurities. It's hard to be face-to-face with your strategy's raw framework without thinking, I could make more money if I tweak this or add that. Right that you want to refine your strategy and try new things, but we must be aware of the thin line between experimenting to improve and experimenting to mask problems. You shouldn't be adding extra decision-making to your strategy if you're still struggling to execute the basics. A simple trade with entry, stop-loss, and profit-taking. For example, if you've been struggling with early entries out of impulsivity and start scaling in an attempt to solve the problem, you are deviating from what needs attention. Good idea at that moment, but it's a waste of time. The issue will persist and soon come to the surface again. It's like someone being prescribed antidepressants by a doctor who doesn't even ask the patient about their lifestyle. They serve to remove the symptoms but never arrive at the actual cause. Or the person who hits the gym to lose weight but sleeps 5 hours a night. The point is, running away from what truly needs fixing is an expensive strategy. Sometimes traders fail for unawareness. They implement improvement plans that seem like solutions but are just methods of overcomplicating. It's easy to differentiate. If the plan adds more decisions to your decision-making, they're probably complicating things, not solving the core issue. In the case of early entries, scaling in might mask the necessity of better defining your entry criteria, which would lead you to a totally different way of approaching the problem. 7-figure traders know what overcomplication looks like and stick to their own non-negotiables. This doesn't mean they don't innovate, but they are clear about when and where they should do it. Remember, the more decisions you make to execute your strategy, the more room for mistakes. Most performance flaws happen when traders do something when they should be doing nothing. The key is to distinguish when you enter overcomplication mode, often accompanied by doubt, confusion, lack of acceptance, and certainty seeking, and then reframe back to your trading principles as the guiding light. Okay, you probably got that part. However, one can't simplify randomly. Simplicity takes selection, and selection takes knowledge about what's worth keeping. 7 pastors struggle to understand random's structure, mainly because they have much experience. This is another big thing. They're not afraid of making mistakes as a way to define their path to better results. We all started our journey overwhelmed by mistakes. They take a central role in these disorders. In the meantime, the strengths went unnoticed in the background, waiting to get. When traders are still learning the basics, there's this idea that there are no strengths at all. But this is untrue. You bring your personal strengths to the charts from the moment you start trading. The challenging part of the process is to understand how they can merge with your trading practice. Most of the time, trading becomes the gateway to discovering these personal strengths, which makes it even more challenging. You not only get to know yourself, but you must make
I'm looking for price to trade into 50% of the range of traded into currently. Um, we also traded all the way up into 50% of the third and the fourth extension. So I'm honestly thinking that's gonna be the high of the day. That's why I'm trying this trade. After this, I'm done and I'm out for the day. So they're just trading into the 50% now. Almost solid ass close though, like chill out. Yeah, it's done. I'm not very respected it here, but we got the select this to this as a setup as well. And now price to find supports and the extension because that just shows strength and support to go all the way to this next one. So I'll let price to just sink for a bit. I'll just take me out quickly. I don't want to be inside this for a while. I should place it there. But it's still no probability. As you can clearly see, uh, the market is, and it's very, very clueless. So I would say it is bullish right now. You see that? You know, it makes it difficult for my hand. So, anyways, next week, so we're going to focus on, this will be the plan for next week, brackets risk management. After the first loss, if it's within the first 5 minutes, so let's say we plan on buying a fair value gap on a 5 minute time frame, and price happens to weak us out or something, or we're in the wrong direction. We have to wait for price to react to the midpoint and the ones it did today over here. Wait for price to react to the midpoint before planning to execute. So once we saw price reacting, all this 50%, we could have taken it out to the top side because we had buy side target. Two losses absolutely means step away from the charts. Reason being, the most I can lose per trade is about $125. Two trades are 250. Let's say trades play out 100 points, which the DAO allows every time I win a trade from gathering stats and from back testing. I'll be able to make this amount in one trade, which in the long run puts me in profit. Our winners happen within the first 30 minutes of the equity open. So from here to 10 o'clock, that's when our high probability setup usually happens in the market. Probability becomes lower later in the day, unless we have FOMC at 2 p.m. or the Fed chair at 10 a.m. in New York. That's also key. So days where we have FOMC, we'll be looking to trade after 2 p.m. Sometimes the Fed happens to talk during the New York session, so we can wait to trade after his speech. Any other day, which we could trade prior to this. Overall, this week wasn't the best. I'll be looking to do some back testing over the weekend.